You found the National Championship Air Races presented by Reno-Tahoe. Visit Reno-Tahoe.com.
And there's the green flag coming up, Tommy. We see it there on the truck and the aircraft. Now they are hearing on the radio. Green flag's up, and here we go. There we go. Brakes off, throttles up. We're underway, Tommy.
Justin Phillipson, race 79 there on with the pole position.
Let's see, beautiful red, white, and blue aircraft in the middle there. Was
Race 99.
Race 99, Tim Cone. But there's a great look at our pole position as he gets airborne. And you notice the minute he gets airborne, he keeps the nose down. Lets the aircraft accelerate. You can see the aircraft in third. There is Josh Watson in frayed knot, who we thought was going to be on the pole,
but they flopped that around. Yeah,
they moved it around a little bit to give him a little bit of position there, much like we saw in earlier heats. And so he's immediately moved into second. So you see a great shot there of second and third, and back to our leader now as he comes around pylon number 3, headed down the backstretch for the first time. Beautiful, beautiful view against that clear blue Nevada sky on just a perfect day for Formula One closed course rating.
Second, third, Josh Watson and Tim Cone.
You can see Josh Watson and frayed knot beginning to pull away a little bit from Tim Cone, and in fact here in this shot you can see him beginning to gain on our leader, who is race 79, no strings attached, and it looks like frayed knot is doing what we've seen frayed knot do so many times over the years. He's making his way around this course and beginning to get up in and over the shoulder of our leader there in race 79. Great look at race 79 there, and right behind him you'll see the other aircraft. There it is, right there. And you can see the wing is shaped a little bit different between these two aircraft. Frayed knot is a DG2 is the type of aircraft, and the leader in race 79 is a shoestring, aircraft. So two different approaches. Both have the same limit on square footage for the wing. But here you can see frayed knot as he takes it up high out of the home straightaway. Going to trade some of that speed for altitude, but as he enters into pylons 4, 5, and 6, he trades that altitude for speed, trying to build, much like NASCAR, to build that momentum, right? And try to get where you can pass the leader. But we get a great shot here of our leader as he's staying low, right down on the 50-foot limit, staying tight to those pylons, Tommy. But you get to see a good shot there as he comes around. Number 2 is catching him, but not terribly fast. He's doing a good job staying out front.
Justin Phillipson in this class, gold class, many years here in Reno, and he's not allowing Josh Watson to take the measure of him just yet, although Josh Watson is thinking toward those lines.
Yeah, and
you see him right behind.
Yeah, he's right behind him there. You see a great shot here from our camera out in the desert, our pylon cam. Here's another good shot. You can see frayed knot.
There's your race right there.
And this is absolutely going to be a competitive race as we are finishing lap number 2, coming to the home pylon. We'll begin lap number 3, and you can see frayed knot is beginning to take advantage of that speed. The camera angle's a little bit made it look a little faster than it probably is, because he's got to take the long way around here on the east end, pylons 1, 2, and 3, passing on the outside. But you can see now he's moved up almost beside him, and I expect down the back stretch here he'll trade some of that altitude for speed, and we'll get to see him get right up next to race 79 just in just a second here.
Just as you said, Rob, he goes down, gets some of that speed, comes up, looks like virtually neck and neck.
Yeah, and like all closed course pylon racing, Tommy, though, you got to pass on the outside. So he's got the longer ground track to fly. It takes longer to get there. And at the moment, our leader, our pole position, race 79, Justin Phillipson, is continuing to hold the lead. But he's definitely being stalked by frayed knot and Josh Watson.
Just a fraction of a second behind. A little bit of bump there for Watson, frayed knot.
We're halfway through. We're on lap 4 now, 4 of 8, as we make our way around. But these two aircraft incredibly comparable here right at the moment, Tommy.
Yes,
While frayed knot in race 31 is slightly faster, it looks like he's beginning to take that speed and make that pass now. You can see here from our pylon cam out in the desert, he's got around, but he's not far enough in front where he can cut down in front of him yet until he's clear, until now as he comes around pylon number 6 and makes his way to home stretch. It looks like he's going to complete this pass here.
for Josh Watson. Wilton, California, and Freydnot, legendary F1 racing plane here, has taken the lead here in our gold class race on day number 2.
But boy, what a competitive race as we see our leader now in Josh Watson in Freydnot, the historic 3-time national champion that aircraft is. And Josh Watson flying it this year, holding up that legend and making it perform just like that aircraft has over the years. Such a great shot. Now here's some farther back in the field. I believe that Feisty in the bright yellow airplane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see our leader beginning to pass them. You see he's having to pass them. Lap traffic on the outside as well. So they're making their way around. That's Austin Shaw behind Feisty there in the yellow, but our leader in Freydnot, race 31, having no problem getting around the slower aircraft.
In a perfect position right now. And a champion plane here, of course, Freydnot. Last time was in 2019.
See the aircraft wiggle a little bit there. I guess a little bit of turbulence. It's probably, the sun's starting to heat the earth just a little bit, getting a little bit of convective heat rising off the desert floor, and you see that as our aircraft bobble. You can see the passing going on here as different aircraft are passing some of those slower. That's Trent Woodworth in Feisty, the bright yellow airplane there on the bottom. He talked about the faster airplanes in our pre-race interview, and that's exactly what you're seeing play out here. And we'll jump back to our leader here. Race 31, Josh Watson, as he comes towards the home pylon here, makes his way to pylon number 1, starting his turnaround there on the east side of our course. Such a great view for our folks at home. You get to see that beautiful DG2 racer.
Put the cart before the horse, but it certainly looked like a showdown between that plane right there, race number 31, and of course a champion of 3 of the last 4 years, Justin Meadows, went down to it in the finals. But we got a long way to go.
We got a long ways to go. That's Sunday, and we are still in the heat of it here on Thursday today. As you see now with Josh Watson, he's flying that really low line and staying low, taking the most effective and efficient way around the course. And this would be the white flag right there as he passed the home pylon. Tommy, we are in our final lap.
Lap number 8.
Great look at our leader as he completes pylon number 3. You see him begin to roll out, slight roll to the right as he rolls out wings level for the backstretch, makes his way down along the desert floor, and he's only got 3 more pylons to turn. The west end of our course, right there, he begins the turn. Pylons 4, then there's 5, and then 6, and then he'll be headed back home to the home pylon for what we expect to be the checkered flag and the unofficial victory here for Josh Watson.
Qualified with 233 and change
checkered flag,
per hour. We'll see what his qualifying time is here, but he has got the win unofficially, that is for sure.
And you see the checkered flag there. Coming by in place number 2, that was our pole sitter, Justin Phillipson, race 79, and behind him the red, white, and blue, race 99 of Tim Cohn, finishing unofficially in 3rd as he makes his way around. Now here we get a great shot of some of the rest of our finishers.
That's Matt Moore, race 14, white plane there.
And then there, the blue and white one there, it's finishing right. Look at that, right by one pass there at the last few turns as they make their way home. And then there's Feisty, who we heard from Trent Woodworth before the race, in the yellow Casset 3, race 52. And we've got all 8 aircraft across the finish line, Tommy. 8 laps in the books in this gold pairing Heat 2A. Let's go back and look and see how this started out, Tommy.
Well, the top of the classification, the gold race takes off, and of course, as you mentioned, Justin Phillipson with the pole position to start in lap number 1, and he would hold that down for 3 laps.
He would. And Josh Watson in Freydnot, the white race 31, was on his trail, though. We got to see it here. You begin to see where he is expertly using some strategy, trading speed for altitude, and then trading that altitude for speed. And lap after lap, he eventually made his way to the front.
Freydnot, the famous F1 racer here, the champion in 2019. And you can see where he's putting the game plan together right there around lap number 3.
Yeah, and there's the pass for the lead right there. And from that point, he never looked back. You know, the aircraft is a 3-time national champion, and here you see them completing the first pass towards the home pylon. He never looked back from there, and that's kind of where we finished it up with him as the unofficial winner, Tommy.
just a perfect performance for one of the favorites coming in. Afraid Not, race number 31, Josh Wilton.
You found the National Championship Air Races presented by Reno-Tahoe. Visit Reno-Tahoe.com.
Always good stuff at the National Championship Air Races 2023. Tommy Sanders here with Rob Lowe, and the final flag. This is the final rate, the last chapter from Reno being written here. We got a lot of great racing.
We absolutely do, Tommy, and we're about to jump right back into Formula One racing. This would be our silver pairing, Heat 2B. Here today on Thursday, we're going to fly 8 laps around our up-close and personal 3.5-mile course. Now you can see the aircraft beginning to stage out there on runway 8 at Reno-Stead Airport. You can see there's 3 aircraft in the front, and then there'll be 2 in the middle, and just off your screen to the left is 3 more. Total of 8 aircraft in this heat, Tommy, and we staged that way on purpose so that when they take off from a standing or a horse race start, if somebody were to have a problem, the 2 aircraft in the middle can slide right through the gap, and same in the back. So we do start on the ground. The aircraft take off. They make left turns around our 3.5-mile course, and the aircraft, as they get up to speed, they begin to be more effective. So part of the standing start is a safety thing, but we don't start counting laps until we come back by the home pylon. That's where we start counting time and laps.
All right, well, we've got a lot to come here in race 2B. Of course, yesterday's race would have been 1B, and one of the qualifiers from that race at 188.13 miles an hour was J.P. Odell from Salinas, California. He gave us some thoughts about that one.
This is my second year, so last year was my rookie year.
How'd you finish last year?
Dead last. So hopefully I built this new wing over the past year and sped us up quite a bit, so excited to try it out on the course today.
How did qualifying go?
Went pretty well. We qualified at 188, so I'm kind of middle of silver, and hoping we're going to be able to move up a little bit today's race.
Yesterday was amazing. I had such a good day. It was my first race ever, and it couldn't have been more exciting. So I learned a lot and had a really good time. I can't wait for the next race and maybe get that pass in that I fought so hard for. Third yesterday, so I moved up. But today I'll take pole position in silver. So I'm pretty excited about that, but we got some gold racers in the class in today's race, so I'm sure they'll be swinging around me a little, but I'll fight my hardest.
Green flag's up, Tommy. Here we go. Throttles are coming up. You see the choices that the pilots and the crews have made as the aircraft accelerate at different rates, but they will all accelerate together in our standing horse race type start. And you can see Jen Watson there in the pole position and Justin Metters there. The black and white race 34 has already moved out into the lead, Tommy.
That's an uncharacteristically fast start for Justin Metters. You mentioned his propensity to start slower but get the speed up, the overwhelming speed once they get up into that first lap.
Now, these aircraft in the F1 class typically operate, they can get up to close to 250 miles an hour. We will see Justin Metters probably approach that speed. The rest of the aircraft in this silver pairing have qualified around 200. So we'll see them probably 200, a little bit more, but there's a great look at Justin Metters in the limitless aircraft. That's what he calls it, and that really is his philosophy in life. We talked about his challenges, but he takes that and turns it to his advantage, and Justin flies absolutely limitless in the beautiful race 34.
This is our starter lap now. You can gain position, you can move around, but the count does not start until these planes pass the start-finish pylon for the first time, and then we'll start the first of 8 official laps.
And there's Justin, as you see that beautiful snowshoe SR1 as he makes his way around. Race 34 out of Mineral Wells, Texas, just out west, about an hour of Fort Worth. And there is race 21. That is Jen Watson, who was our pole position, now in second place as she heads down the home stretch. And there we're back to Justin Metters as he makes his way around pylons 1, 2, and 3 on the far east end of the course. Now, the aircraft pull about 2 to 3 times the weight of gravity, 2 to 3 Gs, Tommy. As they go around, it's you can see there's not a very long period that they're straight and level, and then right back into the turns as we watch Jen there. Here we see second and third as they're going down the backstretch with Jen Watson in race 21 and Paul Newman in race 26. Had a very good race yesterday. when they turn up like that, you get to see the top of the wing. I'm sorry, Tommy. And, you can see Paul Newman's beautiful airplane. When you see the top of that wing, it's just a spectacular paint scheme that he has there. But you see, Jet is able to stay out in front of him as they make their way back to the home pylon here.
It's 2 and 3. There's your leader once again, 3-time champion here in Reno, Justin Metter.
Well, he looks like he's on rails, Tommy. You can see a good view of that aircraft here in this camera shot. You see the shape of the wing. It's got that curved leading edge out there on the tip. A little more bird-like than maybe the shape of the wing on the Cassett racers. It's all just about aerodynamics. One isn't necessarily better than the other. It's just a different approach to the aerodynamics. This aircraft, a little bit more composite in its construction, but they're all limited. Again, this is a true technical formula class. There's some very strict rules that date all the way back to the 30s when these were called midget racers. They're all limited to 166 square feet of wing area. So the engineers take different approaches, and you can see some of that just in the shape and the styling. And some
A few tiny tweaks they can do to those engines there. Nothing huge, but basically close to it. Stock race.
And here we are at looking at second and third, Tommy, as we continue to see Jen Watson in race 21, followed by fast and easy race 26. That's Paul Newman. Now, we talked earlier about her staying out in front, but it looks to me like Paul may be figuring something out as they go around the course here. He's slowly gaining on him. Now, here you see a strategy down the backstretch where we see somebody pulling up and out, so that is likely that there's possibly a problem with that aircraft. Everything looks to be okay, but that was Jen Watson that pulled up off the course.
She's left the race course.
She's left the race course. You can see when the aircraft, here is Paul Newman down low. We fly typically at just above 50 feet above our pylons outside the round. You see him rounding pylon number 6 coming up the home stretch right here. And this is race 00.
That's
Chet Harris.
Yeah.
Sorry, ought not. We've been saying that was Paul Newman, so my apologies for that. But that is Chet Harris, who is now in second place.
All alone in second place now, and just joining us, Jen Watson started the day in the pole position, just left the race.
Yeah, so Chet has been the one that was in third that entire time and now in second, Tommy. So our apologies to Chet and his crew, because he's flying a fine race, and we're getting to see a great example of it here as he zips down the back straightaway. What a beautiful shot from out in the desert with our pylon cam coming right into your living room here, Tommy. Pylons 4, 5, and 6. Here's another shot as he comes back toward you. Pylon 6 and headed to the home straightaway as we make our way through.
As good a race as he's running, not too far behind him, Rob, is Justin Metters, and that's not a huge surprise.
Yeah, Justin aircraft, his strategy is always, once that aircraft gets up to speed, it just rolls. And you can see he's beginning to overtake a lot of the field here. And you can see Justin making his way around to pylons 1, 2, and 3, the far eastern end of our up close and personal 3.5 mile track. And as he heads down the backstretch there, we'll see pretty soon, we'll begin to see some of the aircraft that he's catching come into the shot. Now, no matter if you're really a lot faster or just a little bit faster, no matter what, you have to pass on the outside, right? So the inside track is the shortest way around the course. So to pass on any kind of closed course pylon racing you got to take the longer way around. But a great look at our leader here, Tommy. Just on rails. Justin just has that aircraft dialed in. That is limitless. Race 34. And he looks very smooth. Everything looks to be back on track for whatever caused the DNF yesterday. Justin appears to be right back on track here in the Silver Heat 2B pairing here in the Formula One class.
And of course, move back into the gold class based on the results of this race. He's certainly on track to do that. Once again, second place, Chet Harris, Anchorage, Alaska, in the double hawk.
You see him passing one of the slower aircraft there that has kind of pulled up and out of the way. So we talked about having to pass on the outside. That is only if the slower aircraft is out in front and tight. If the slower aircraft pulls up and away, then you have the opportunity. And that's a judgment call that the pilots make, and also is a judgment call the race officials. And then Justin Metters just zipping by there in that shot as we looked at. A great shot at the blue and white checkered home pylon as our aircraft make their way around. There you see Justin Metters coming around pylon number 3, headed back to the west. On the backstretch of our up close and personal 3.5 mile.
This is the second day of racing for the silver class or the B class. It's F1 race 2B. He's picking up with us, Justin Metters, the odds-on favorite coming into Reno this year. Did not finish this race yesterday, so he dropped to B and moved back up to the gold class.
Tommy, that's one of the great things about how Reno works. Through the heat races all week long as we make our way to Sunday, the aircraft can move up and move down, and ideally we end up with the best competitive grouping when we get to Sunday. Here's a great shot of the home pylon. You see the various aircraft coming by, and you saw going down the backstretch, you can see that orange aircraft in the distance. That is the Atomic Pumpkin, Blair Hamilton, as aircraft are continuing to make their way around. There is the beautiful purple and yellow race 39. That's J.P. Odell and Monkey Ninja. Here comes Blair Hamilton, the Atomic Pumpkin out of Canada.
Looks like Sean Milkey will be coming up next, and then Steve Temple will be bringing up the rear.
Getting into the final laps of our race here. 74. Good race yesterday for Sean Milke. Fat ass Cass.
And here's 73. This is Steve Temple out of Genoa, Nevada. Never easy is what he calls that airplane as he comes across the line here at the home pylon.
Many airplanes will be going direct to the downwind. You'll be seeing them doing wing wags, similar to
Tommy, I think they've all crossed when we saw the checkered flag wave there. I think they've all pulled up off the course. And let's look at it one more time here, Tommy, as we see the start. We had Jen Watson there on the pole on the right side of your screen. Justin Metters in race 34 jumped out immediately on departure. And here you see him here airborne all the way around. He led flag to flag, Justin Metters. And there you see a good look at Jen Watson in race 21. But there is Justin Metters. And as expected in this pairing, Justin was able to just be on rails and pull out in front.
Justin, a dominant figure in F1 racing, 4 out of the last 3 years here in Reno. Absolutely no contest. Got out and had it all to himself, all that good air to himself for a long, long time.
And you saw there in that previous shot, Jen Watson pulling up off the course safely with some sort of an issue on her aircraft, but she's made it back around safely now and all good there. And there you see Justin Metters passing some of the slower traffic as he makes his way around. And he's our unofficial winner in this heat, Tommy.
Justin Metters. So that's it. Race 2B. The Formula One class race 2B is in the books here in Reno.
You found the National Championship Air Races presented by Reno-Tahoe. Visit Reno-Tahoe.com.
It's the final flag, Tommy.
Yep.
And we're underway and we're excited. Here we are in the Formula One class. This is our original air racers in our country. You know, this class dates back to the 1930s. These aircraft is our only continuous racing class since then. It's the oldest class of racing. And for 66, 67 years or more, that we've had the same rules. It's a true technical formula class. You know, we fly a monoplane, single wing, fixed gear. They all have the same engine. Here you see the explainer on the screen showing you what our course looks like. It's our up close and personal 3.5 mile course. They do a standing start, Tommy, from the runway, and we call that a horse race start or a standing start. You'll see the aircraft, 8 aircraft in the race or in a heat can be. In this case, we're going to have 6 here in just a few minutes. You'll see the front row will have 3 aircraft, and then we'll have them spaced behind. Once the green flag drops, the adrenaline goes up, the throttle goes up, and we're off. And the aircraft do make 1 lap before we actually start counting time and counting laps. So that is an opportunity for these aircraft to get up to speed. There is the flag that we were talking about just a minute ago, Tommy.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
On the right there's Stephen Coleman, our top qualifier here. Stephen Coleman from Providence, Rhode Island, in the Slab Dog, the cast at 3. We actually caught up with Stephen yesterday and give us his thoughts for just a quick moment.
Okay. Well, yesterday I was in the silver heat and came in last. The guy that was in bronze, he actually flew faster. So I'm going to be pole now in bronze, and starting out, the plan is just to go as fast as we can.
There's the green flag, Tommy. The adrenaline's coming up in those cockpits, I promise you. Throttles are coming up. We're underway, Tommy. Here we go.
Absolutely. These tiny, miraculous tiny planes with so much power. The top end, some of the racers can reach near 250 miles an hour. So keep your eye on this one. It will go very quickly, and it's a ton of fun.
It absolutely is. And we're underway. There you see our pole position, Stephen Coleman. Slab dog in race 37. He's airborne safely, and we are underway. It is so exciting here. Race 17 and race 9. They're in now second and third place as they make their way. But again, Tommy, we're seeing in action here those fixed pitch propellers, and you see some of the aircraft accelerate faster than others, but once they get airborne and get up to speed, the pitch that they have chosen may allow that aircraft to fly faster. So we'll see a lot of maneuvering and different strategies playing out here as we get underway.
Lots of strategy, absolutely. It's what makes it so much fun. So we got our leader, Stephen Coleman, race 37 in the slap dog. There it goes.
So he had the pole and he got the early lead, and like he said in the interview before we started, he dropped down from the silver pairing from yesterday, but he's also, by qualifying speed, a fair amount faster than the rest of this field. So we're expecting that he will stay out in front. Now here's second and third, Tommy. We see there's race 37, there's our leader, and right behind him you see in the white aircraft, that's Push Wah from Mumbai, India, in race 17, race 17.
Red and white outlaw special there out front, or appearing to be out in front of him, is race number 9, Scott Holmes. And your leader out there in the front, still in a warm-up lap when he crosses a start-finish pylon. We will begin counting laps.
What a beautiful day here in Reno today, Tommy. I mean, look, clear blue skies. The folks who put together the 2023 National Championship Air Races have ordered the perfect weather. And there comes our leader as he makes his way around the east end of our up-close and personal 3.5-mile course. And just a beautiful, beautiful sight, that race 37 against that clear blue Nevada sky.
Like you say, perfect weather, and it's a perfect situation when you're the leader. You don't have anyone else's prop wash to go through. You've got clean air.
Clean air, that's where you want to be.
Second
behind
place.
the race plate, this is race 9, Scott Holmes.
Yep.
In the beautiful red casket. Outlaw Special is what he calls that airplane. Get a great look as he rolls into the turn, coming around the pylons, and making their way around pylons 4, 5, and 6. Here we are in Heat C, and we're completing the first lap, Tommy. We're going to do 8 laps total. And like I said, we just started counting, and here comes our leader back towards the home pylon. And when he crosses that home pylon, you see the beautiful blue and white checkered thing. There's a great look at Scott Holmes in the Outlaw Special team.
Holmes has yet to make any significant ground up off of the quick lead that Stephen Coleman jumped out to yet.
And there is Stephen Coleman out front. And based on the qualifying times, again, like we said, Stephen Coleman dropped down from the silver pairing yesterday. He was able to take the pole position, get out front, and apparently he stayed there now through about 1.5 official laps as we're completing lap 2 here. As he makes his way, you can see him begin to turn from our wonderful pylon cams out in the desert, giving you an up-close and personal view for the viewers at home. And such a great shot on this beautiful day of Mr. Coleman. And the slab dog, Cassett 3. He brings it around pylon number 6 there, rolls out on the home stretch. Now these aircraft in this heat are just under 200 miles an hour, but they're still pulling 2 to 3 times the force of gravity as they go around those turns, Tommy.
It's a full-time job piloting one of these things here, and it's amazing the quality of the pilots, the air flying ability that they all present here in Reno.
Certainly is, and there you see a beautiful look at our second place aircraft, Scott Holmes in race 9. As he makes his way around now back into turns 1 and 2. And then you see now in the shot in third place, that's Push Wah in race 17. Plane he calls Annie. Close up on the second place. Outlaw Special.
Always been an international event here in the desert. Great now to have a competitor from India among the ranks here. And then in this class, which is the sort of the gateway class to racing, this type of closed course pylon racing.
Yeah, and it's also our most historic class, Tommy, and these aircraft, kind of hard to tell when they're against the blue sky, but these aircraft are very small. You basically strap them on. You know, they weigh a minimum of 500 pounds. And
Just like a Harley Davidson.
Well, it's about half the weight of a Harley
Half the
Davidson.
weight.
So, you know, they can weigh between 500 to 600 pounds, fully fueled. They're near 800 pounds, but you're still about half the weight of a Harley Davidson motorcycle. And then we're back to our leader as he makes his way back around the turns here in the pylons. You get to see what it looks like as they come. Now, we do have the pylons. In this case, the 3.5-mile course has 6 of them, 3 on each end. And the aircraft has to stay outside of that. And we have judges at every pylon on the race course who are looking straight up to see if a racer cuts it too tight. And that's how we keep it fair and make sure they stay on the racetrack. There's a time penalty if you cut the race and cut the pylon. There you see a beautiful shot of the pylon in our camera there as we continue to look at our leader, Stephen Coleman, race 37.
He's not being pushed very much at all, but being pushed is second place. Scott Holmes being pushed very, very vigorously by Push Wong.
Yeah, Annie in the Push is flying there is beginning to figure it out and make ground. Every time they go through the turns, I've noticed that Push is beginning to gain on him a little bit. When they roll out in the straightaway, Scott Holmes in race 9 is able to keep the speed fairly matched. But Push is doing something in the turns where he's converting some of that straightaway speed into a turn. You see there in that beautiful shot, he is gaining in that straightaway. And then as they go through the turns, you notice that Push has to pass on the outside. He has traded some of that speed for some altitude. And then now he is sliding back in beside, trying to tuck down in. And we'll see as they go down the backstretch here how that works again. But he's gaining slowly but surely on him, Tommy.
International Formula One, that's the full name of this class here, and this is the bronze medal class. Everyone trying to make it up, try to gain in class during the course of these qualifying days here in the desert.
Yeah, Tommy, you're exactly right. As we go through these heat races, aircraft can move up and move down depending on their speed, and the idea being when we get to Sunday and we have all the final races, everybody is most closely matched with their competitors, and when we see some very competitive racing throughout the week. Not that this isn't, because we definitely are seeing, look at this continued battle for second place here as we watch second and third with Scott Holmes in the red, race 9, and Push Wah in the white, race 17.
Scott so far able to hold Push off, but how long can he keep it up? That's a really good race going on right there. Again, our leader, Stephen Coleman, is out in front by a considerable margin right there. He's trying to go back up in class, back up to the B class.
Look at that view, Tommy. We've got cameras out in the desert and the pylons giving our viewers just an up-close and personal view of this spectacular racing. And there you see Push beginning to accelerate a little bit down that backstretch. So he's beginning to figure something out. You can see he's on the outside, so a little bit of an optical illusion that he may be in front, but watch as they go through this turn. They are virtually side by side, but remember the inside track is the shorter one. Scott Holmes in the red race 9 has the shorter course around pylons 4, 5, and 6 here as they make their way back towards the home stretch. Tommy, we're in lap number 4. We're just about halfway through. When they cross the home pylon here, they will have completed half of the laps, but you can see we did have a successful pass there by Push Wah.
Push Wah now in second place there. Back to our leader now. Stephen Coleman, the slab dog, Orange Cassidy.
Tommy, that push was so exciting, or that pass was so exciting to watch by Push Wah. And you see the strategy playing out as we get into the race. He followed Scott Holmes for several laps, sizing him up, and then finally found a place to take advantage of that acceleration and made his way by. Now, Push Wah, we talked about him being from India. He's also a rookie, so this is his very first year racing here. But boy, he's doing a great job. There's a shot of our leader, and now we're jumping back to second and third. And we were just talking about Push Wah, and you can see where he is pulling away now from some of the strategy that he's figured out. Yeah, that's really pulling.
Has stretched it, yeah.
Pulling away from him, which is just so exciting to see how the strategies play out in these various classes.
Neither second or third place been able to make up any ground on Stephen Coleman. Again, Stephen Coleman trying to get back up into that silver class. And it's going to be based on his time here. So Stephen Coleman's not going to lay off. He's not going to, phone this one in. He's going to keep it push until the end.
Yeah, and there he is on screen, Tommy. In the shot right before that, you saw him out in the distance. He's almost a full half a lap ahead of our second place pilot there in Push Wah in race 17. So race 37, there you see as he rolls around pylon number 4 and headed for 5 and 6, making his way back around the west end of the up close and personal 3.5 mile course. Beautiful aircraft, and you can see he is just locked in, Tommy. He's right on those pylons, holding his altitude, and you saw come through the shot there. He's beginning to catch some of the slower traffic, and we may see here in the last lap, we may see him finally pass one of those slower aircraft. We'll see.
Yeah, one of the first one there, right there. Dominic Cacolici, the first one he encounters there. He just passed him. Ahead of Cacolici is Robinson in race number 6.
And you can see our leader pitching up. He just completed the race. And we see other aircraft continuing to go around to finish their last lap as we're watching. This is race 72. Dominic Cacolici from Mentor, Ohio. That beautiful yellow and black aircraft. There is the home pylon. You can see Dominic in the distance there going down the backstretch. Great perspective from that shot, Tommy, of how really up close and personal this 3.5 mile course is as it makes its way around. And here you see coming around the final 4, 5, and 6 pylons here. This is Todd Rumsey in race 58 as he makes his way. Yep, Sonic Zoom. Looks like he's slated to finish in unofficially 5th place. Yep. As he comes across the home pylon right here. You'll see it pass through right there. And right behind him, finishing 6th in our heat of 6, is Dominic Cacolici. Race 72. What a beautiful Casset airplane. But Tommy, let's look at the recap here.
Well, there was your top qualifier, the Slab Dog, that orange airplane on the right. That was the favorite to win the race, and he did jump out to a quick lead. As all our racers got underway and started counting laps after that first starter lap.
Yeah, and as we make our way through here, for a long time, this was race 9. Scott Holmes in the Outlaw Special was in second, but he was under pressure the entire time from race 1-7 from Push Wah out of Mumbai, India. And eventually Push was able to size him up. He figured out that he had speed. We saw it especially in the straightaways, and then you saw him execute that pass. Again, you have to pass on the outside. Here you see the pass right here. This was the race within the race in this heat, and there is the exciting pass. And Push, a rookie here at Reno, makes the pass, and he ends up finishing unofficially in 2nd place, Tommy.
Serving notice. We'll see if his time is good enough to move him up in class. That'll all be revealed later on today. Right now, we just follow our leader, 37, the Slab Dog. Fairly effortless victory here.
Yeah, flag to flag he led, and you saw him pass the 6th place, unofficially Dominic Cacolici there on the end. And there's our leader, back on the ground safely, race 37. That's the Slab Dog, beautiful orange Casset 3M aircraft. And get a picture here, Tommy. We talked about the size of these airplanes. You can see the pilot in there. You can see Stephen Coleman inside there. They are very small. In fact, you see when they begin to tow these back to the hangar, they'll often just grab the back end near the horizontal stab. One person can pick it up and turn it around. Very small, but that's the whole idea about these, what once were called the midget racers. The history of air racing in the United States back to the 30s is so intense and so historic. Man, it's exciting to see them racing here at Reno again this year.
A lot of tradition, a lot of memories and history on display here on this very, very special week as we close this chapter in the desert and get ready to start the next chapter for these National Championship air races. There are your results right there. Slab Dog number 37. Stephen Coleman takes the top spot. Push Wah in Annie number 17. A very exciting 6th and 7th lap for him, absolutely taking the lead away from Scott Holmes, who finishes 9, race 9 in Outlaw. Carl Robinson, the Buddy Special. 4th place, Todd Rumsey, Sonic Boom. Race 58 and race 72, Dominic Cacolici, Sky Addict in 6th.
It's the National Championship Air Races, presented by Reno-Tahoe.
Coverage continuing here, 2023 National Championship Air Races from Reno. Know you enjoyed all that great STOL racing we have had already today. We've had 2 F1 races as well. Formula One is not finished yet. We are on and just about ready to get underway with Formula One, the Gold Heat. This is 3A, the top 3 qualifiers. Right across the front there, Josh Watson in race 31, Justin Metters in race 34, and Justin Phillipson in race 79. As a matter of fact, we caught up with one of the crew members, Daniel Calgaro, from race 79. Got his comments.
Race 79, 81, 82. General crew, sort of work wherever I'm needed. Been on with Justin for our 11th year. Actually, since the first year that he convinced somebody else to borrow a racing airplane. In 2012, we borrowed Outrageous, and it's been a lot of fun ever since.
They're just checking everything on the airplane every time before we go out in the morning. They look everything over, make sure everything's good. And then if we have any, the fuselage of the airplane is wrapped, so if we have any wrap peeling up or anything, we don't want any drag areas hanging out, so they'll stick that, make sure everything's sticking down and really clean and ready to go for the race.
Tell me a little bit about the plane.
This is a snowshoe aircraft. It's a home-built airplane designed for the Formula One class, and it works pretty well here. I absolutely want to win the final race at Reno here. We do have some fast airplanes that we're competing against for sure. We have a good starting position today, but tomorrow, because of a point system that we have, I won't have a good starting position, so that's going to make it difficult to get to the front, and yeah, we'll see. I'm going to try my hardest to get up there. Yeah.
Justin Metters, second position there. Justin Phillipson, no strings attached. Timothy Cohn, what airplane hunting. Timothy Cohn from Fresno, California. Matt Moore, fifth spot, Acme Special, race 14. Eric Dienst, that's the all-white plane you'll see out there. Deja Vu, sixth place. Drew Keenan, sleeper. And Chet Harris, moving up in class from the B class here to the A class, based on his performance yesterday in the B class racing. He's in Ought-Not. That's going to be race 00, as a matter of fact.
00, Ought-Not.
Yeah.
We're excited to see him here. This is going to be a very exciting, very competitive race, we believe, Tommy, here in the gold pairing. We're on Friday. This is the day that a lot of the strategy gets finalized, and we begin to see, and you see in the flag change there on the white pickup. We now have the green flag up. As soon as that drops, we will be underway. The adrenaline is coming up in those cockpits. They're getting ready to go. And there it is. We are underway, Tommy. Typical standing start. You see our front row pretty evenly matched because all three of those aircraft similarly set up with speed, and you can see on the outside Justin Phillipson, the green and yellow airplane, in the early lead initially, but these aircraft, as we've seen before, once they get up to speed, sometimes there's a little bit different between Afraid Not and Justin Metters in Limitless. Tommy, as they head around the first pylon here, we're going to watch them make these first few turns. You can see the aircraft are getting up to speed, and this is our warm-up or our starter lap. And as they make their way around back towards the home pylon, that is where we will first start counting laps and time.
The race does not begin until
Current leader, race 79, no strings attached, yellow and green airplane. Out front there, right behind him, Afraid Not, the DG2 all-white aircraft. And in third, Justin Metters in the black and red and white SR1 snowshoe.
Some height to start out with, and now trading that in for a little bit of speed there. Do what he can to join the fray there in the first two spots.
Well, we're underway, Tommy. We're officially on lap 1 now as we make our way across. You can see the first three are fairly tightly packed. Again, the pole position or the inside track is where you want to be. It's the shortest way around the course. You have to pass on the outside. And here you see Josh Watson in race 31 beginning to make his way around the outside. Watson and Metters both taking the higher line that they'll transition to when they go straight and level. They'll drop the nose and accelerate in an attempt to get past the leader here.
Into lap number 2 now. Good race going on right at the front.
This is as good as it gets, Tommy. Man, this is exciting. Shoulder to shoulder, close course racing. Formula One. Here it is. You can see there again, Josh Watson trying to gain every little drop of speed he can. But on that inside track, the shortest way around, Justin Phillipson being able to hold him off here as they enter the turns there on the west end of the course. And you can see Justin Metters just hanging with them there in third place. But you could darn near throw a blanket over all three of these, Tommy. exactly what we expected in the gold heat.
All qualified within about 6 miles an hour of each other as far as speed goes.
As we've talked before, all of these aircraft are flying the same Continental O200 engine. They're turning it a lot faster than you would in your family Cessna 150, but here they are all really closely matched, and just a great sound as they're coming towards you here around the west end of our up close and personal 3.5 mile course.
With the inside track, it's certainly an advantage here. Took that really quickly.
Yeah, with the fixed pitch propellers on these, Tommy, you know that makes a difference how they get started. His selection got him moving first, and he got out front, got that inside track, and now Afraid Not and Limitless both having a little bit of trouble getting caught up to him and getting him around him, but it's been a dogfight with these two, especially here in the battle for the lead with Josh Watson and Afraid Not on the left side of your screen, the all-white aircraft, doing his best to catch up with our leader, race 79.
Down on the straightaways there, up in the turns.
Sometimes our perspective, Tommy, it looks like the white aircraft got by him, but again, he's got to take the longer way around the turn. You can see here they are actually side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Closed course racing, you'll only see this in Reno here at the National Championship Air Races.
Already into lap number 5 now.
It's going to be interesting to see if Josh Watson in race 31 has anything for Justin Phillipson in race 79 here as we wind down these last few laps. He's been sizing him up the entire race, and we'll see if there's something that he's been keeping in his back pocket to eventually push by him. You can see every time he gets to a turn, he trades that speed for altitude in an attempt to go down the straightaway and then descend back and gain every knot he can.
Just a fraction of a second separating these two as it stands right now.
Shots there, Tommy. You saw Afraid Not slightly ahead as they entered that turn, and look as they exit. No strings attached in the yellow and green. Made his way right back out, and then there they are, wingtip to wingtip, going by the home pylon. We start laps. Here we go, just one more time around, and we're going to see if they can, if the strategies change. Shot down the backstretch. It looks like Afraid Not. Finally, he found something, and now he's out in front, and he's able to pull down in front. So now we have a new leader. Josh Watson, race 31, and Afraid Not. And then you can see in that shot just behind them, Justin Metters a little bit higher in third. But here's our new leader, race 31, Josh Watson.
Flag, white flag.
Final lap here.
On the radio, the white flag call. Last time around, Tommy's he heads, and he's now beginning to pull away just a little bit. So I think he did have something in the tank that he was waiting for the end to be able to just uncork.
And never got too far behind. He couldn't make it work. Afraid Not. This airplane has been the champion. National champion 3 times at this point.
One last time around, you can see our first and second place in that shot. Beginning to mix it up with some of the tail end lap traffic, but this will be the checkered flag unofficially for our leader out of Winton, California, Josh Watson, race 31.
Runway 8, wind calm.
Justin Phillipson, race 79, was in second place. It's going to be Justin Metters in third.
Metters in third. Continue to have the rest of the field come around here. There they come. You can see the last few making their way around the final pylons. 5 and 6 make their way to the home pylon to take the checkered flag for each and every racer.
There's Eric Dienst, in 7th place. Drew Keenan in sleeper, race 81.
And we have one more racer coming around the end here, Tommy. And that should be Chet Harris in race 00, ought not, as he closes out this gold pairing here for us on Formula One here on Friday. A lot of times we call it Movement Day. There he is. Tommy, let's go back and look at how this all started. You see race 79 got out to an early lead right here. Justin Metters initially in second, but as they make the turn, he had the outside track. You can see Freydnot with a little bit of a jostle there on the turbulence as he gets settled in, but it quickly turned into race 79 in first, race 31 in second, and Justin Metters race 34 in third. And really the battle for the lead was where this race really played out the entire time.
Justin Phillipson flying that low line through the entire race there. That was obviously his strategy, and for a while it was working great.
And a great example throughout this entire race. You have to pass on the outside, that inside track, shortest way around the course, definitely an advantage. And Josh Watson and Freydnot able to just continue to stay with him. He kept himself in position right up until we got to that last lap, the white flag lap. And as he headed down the backstretch, he was able to get out in front, made the pass, and then here he is taking the checkered flag for the unofficial win here in the gold pairing.
And there's your unofficial results as they stand right now. Josh Watson, Freydnot taking the win here in 3A. Justin Phillipson, first place for a lot of the race, but winds up being second. Race number 79, no strings attached. Justin Metters, the former champ. Race 34 in Limitless, in third place. Timothy Cohn, What Airplane Honey, is fourth. Eric Dienst, race 85. Deja Vu, fifth. Matt Moore, Acme Special. Sixth place, Drew Keenan, 81. And Sleeper, and Chet Harris in the race 00, ought not. Rounding out our field of 8.
It's the National Championship Air Races, presented by Reno-Tahoe.
Yes, sir. Silver class, as you can see on the screen, they're on the runway, Tommy. We've got the ground crews out there. The engines are already turning in this class. We've got 8 aircraft in this silver pairing as we look at it here today.
These are our smallest, of course, aircraft in all of our 6 classes here. Very unique and sort of the gateway division for people to get into the game of air racing. Let's talk with J.P. Odell, who's right in the middle of the front line in Monkey Ninja.
When I was a kid, my dad's a pilot, and I flew a lot with him as a kid. Just doing all the basic stuff, flying little trainer airplanes along the Central Coast. And as I kind of got more into it, I started trying to expand my skills and do cool things. And this opportunity popped up that I could maybe get a race plane and race in Reno, and kind of went from there.
How many years have you raced at Reno?
This is my second year.
How did you do last year?
Last year I got dead last in the Formula One. So it was an awesome learning year. Learned how to fly the course, learned how to get out there, and made a lot of mods to the airplane this year to be faster. And now we're here, and we're definitely faster than we were last year.
I finished second in the bronze, started from third, and once I was second, after the pause, I was maintaining good speed. That speed helped me bump up to silver class now, and I was the 6th pick today, and now I'm starting on the back row in silver class, and I will be on back row middle.
Here comes the green flag, Tommy. Right. So we are close now. The adrenaline is coming up in that cockpit. They are getting ready. We're watching for that flag to drop. There it is. We are underway, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Silver Heat. 3B for our Formula One class as they start. Far to the right of your screen, our pole position, Austin Shaw, the blue and white. Race 82 in the middle, J.P. Odell, the purple and white we heard from just before the race. And the yellow aircraft moving into second place, that is Trent Woodworth, Spring Valley, Wisconsin, race 52, and Feisty. Front row is all airborne successfully. Tommy, we didn't explain yet, but as these aircraft make their way around the course for the very first time, that is our starter lap, or our oil warm-up lap. It also allows our aircraft to get up to speed where all the ailerons and everything are working at their highest level of efficiency and effectiveness. So they are racing, they can change position right now, but we don't start counting laps in time until we pass the home pylon when we come by the next time.
Is our pole position starter, Austin Shaw, race number 82. It's Cheap Thrills.
Right behind him, Feisty. Trent Woodworth in the all-yellow aircraft is just out of our shot there. You see a good look at second and third there.
Austin Shaw leading the race right now as a rookie.
Odell. But there's our leader as he enters the west portion of our race for the very first time. And you can see how closely they're spaced there in that shot. We get a great look here from our pylon, from our cam as they come around the final pylon towards the home pylon, the start-finish line, and when he crosses that, when Austin Shaw crosses that here in just a second, Tommy, we will be underway, counting time and counting laps as of now.
Austin Shaw dropping down from the gold class into the Bs this time, so we know he's got the speed to get it done. Also the same case for Trent Woodward in Feisty, yellow in pursuit.
Absolutely. And today's the day we see a lot of movement amongst these different classes between gold, silver, and bronze. As everybody begins to tweak out all of their adjustments for the week, but they also maybe are starting to let go with some of their strategy that they're going to need for Sunday when it all comes down to the final heat to win. And here you see our leader as he makes his way around the western end of the course and back towards the home pylon. And there you see a great shot of our second place, Trent Woodworth in Feisty, the beautiful bright yellow Cassett 3.
These two qualified within 1 mile an hour of each other. 52, first and second.
So we're completing the official lap number 1 right there as we came by. We're now into lap number 2. And you get a great shot of our leader and the other craft coming right behind him. There is our second place, the beautiful yellow Feisty, Trent Woodworth in race 52.
Dropping down in class, looking to move back up. He can somehow overtake Austin Shaw. He can pretty much guarantee that.
You get a good look at first, second, and third, how close they really are. As we zoom in close to give you a good look at those aircraft, sometimes you don't see the perspective, and that was a great shot to see how close they really are. They do seem to be fairly evenly spaced, especially the first two. You see them begin to separate just a little bit from the rest of the field as they're making their way around. But we've now completed we've completed 2. We're on lap 3 of 8 as we make our way around, and it appears that Austin Shaw has it kind of dialed in. He really is on rails, flying the closest and shortest portion of the course right around our pylons, maintaining that minimum altitude of 50 feet. Around each one of those pylons. And Tommy, we do have judges at every pylon. When you see the pylons come into camera view here in just a second, you'll see that on top of each pylon, 50 feet off the ground, there is a big white can. And we have a judge that's looking up through that hollow can. And if he sees any portion of the airplane through that view, we know that the pilot cut it too short, and there's a time penalty for a shortcut. So it's a really good opportunity for our folks to make sure that they stay on course.
Qualifier Austin Shaw still in that lead, still in pursuit. Third place qualifier Trent Woodworth in Feisty, race 52.
Great sound right there, Tommy, in these Continental O200 engines, 4-cylinder air-cooled engines, just like you might have in your family Cessna 150. And here's a great view of first, second, and third as they come right to you. A little bit different than your family Cessna, Tommy. These engines are turning at well over 4,000 RPM in these racers. And the red line on a Cessna 150 is 2750, so significantly faster. We're turning smaller props. They're composite typically, and like we talked about earlier, they're fixed pitch. So the crew and the pilot have to make a choice on top end speed or get off the ground quick. But you can see here our leader, Austin Shaw, on Cheap Thrills, made all the right choices, and he's jumped out front from the start and been able to stay there.
Lap 6 already.
There's a shot of our first and second place going down the back stretch, if you will. And here they are coming into the speed, of course.
Trent Woodworth in pursuit. That's race 52, the yellow Cassin.
There they are, headed around the east side, Tommy, of our up close and personal 3.5-mile course. And we're beginning to rapidly wrap up these 8 laps. Great look at our leader right there.
Extending his lead, stepping on out there, trying to post a good time. I always point out that's very important.
Yeah, because we can, the aircraft can certainly move up and move down through all of these heat races, and that's part of how the racing is designed here at the National Championship Air Races. And everybody is looking to do their best and move up. And like you said earlier, Austin Shaw, our leader right there on your screen, dropped down from the gold group yesterday, and he's doing everything he can to move back up there, making his way to Sunday. One last time around, Tommy. You can see that our leader, Austin Shaw, has pulled away a little bit from Trent Woodworth in the yellow Feisty. And here's back in the pack a little bit, Tommy, a little bit closer race here with the all red and white Scott Holmes in Outlaw. And now back to our leader as he begins to catch up with him on some lap traffic.
Yeah.
So there is our leader coming to the checkered flag.
Flag, white flag.
No,
white flag.
One more, sorry.
One more to go. So we got off on that.
There.
That's all right. We're good to go. One last time around here for our leader as he just passed Scott Holmes in Outlaw, the red aircraft that was in your shot a minute ago. This is the final time around for our leader, Austin Shaw. Great view that was, Tommy, from our cameras that are out in the desert at the pylons, giving our fans and viewers the best view they can of this amazing experience. And here comes our leader, Austin Shaw, race 82 for the checkered flag here in the silver pairing, silver heat.
Second place is going to be Trent Woodworth, Spring Valley, Wisconsin, race 52. We've got J.P. Odell, Salinas, California, Monkey Ninja Kids.
It's JP. This is Blair Hamilton, the red and black Atomic Pumpkin. Orange and black, sorry.
We're not done racing here at Reno.
You see our last portion of our field circling the far west pylons here, Tommy, making their way back around.
By there.
And this is race 17. Here's 74 right there is Sean Milkey. Followed by the all-red Scott Holmes in Outlaw and race 17, who we heard from just before the race, Push Wah from Mumbai, India. As we wrap up this silver pairing here in the Formula One. Here we are back at the start, Tommy, and you get to see immediately that Austin Shaw jumped out to an early lead, and from the third outside of the front row, Trent Woodworth in the yellow Feisty was right with him for most of the race, and they settled into pretty much a steady state for most of the race. First and second throughout from pretty much flag to flag, Tommy.
Our two planes that had dropped down from the class above, the gold class, into B for at least the time being, showing that they trying to make a case that they belong back in A, that they belong back in the gold.
Yeah, there's a good shot of their spacing with the third place, but here's our leader as he comes around the west end, making his way back towards the final flag here in just a minute. Great race back in the pack, just a little bit here with race 74, and also the all-red Scott Holmes and Outlaw, but there is our leader, Tommy, who, like we said, got out front, and here he comes to the back towards the flag right there and gets the checkered flag and the unofficial win.
Good job right there by Austin Shaw. 82 Cheap Thrills in first place. Trent Woodward stayed with him in second. All the way through that one, winds up in second. Race 52, JP Odell. Monkey Ninja, race 39 is in third place. Blair Hamilton, the Atomic Pumpkin, making the top four there. Sean Milkey, Fat Ass Cass, Steve Coleman, 37 Slab Dog. Bourgeois looking to do better here. Did not quite get it done there in Annie, but he'll have some more racing in this week. And Scott Holmes, 8th place, number 9, Outlaw. And that's it for Formula One Heat 3B.
You found the National Championship Air Races presented by Reno-Tahoe. Visit Reno-Tahoe.com.
First up, we're going to start it out with some Formula One races. Formula One 3C is on the way. 8 laps.
You can see, Tommy, on the screen, the racers for this class are beginning to make their way out to the runway. These are fairly small aircraft. We'll talk more about those here in just a minute, but you can see they tow them out, get them into position on the runway, and we'll talk about the start. But we actually start from a horse race start, and we're going to go back and maybe look at how these guys did yesterday.
Yes, we have a chance to look at the race 2C. That would be from day 2 of racing. This is their heat early yesterday.
But jumping out early on the right side of your screen, Tommy, if you remember race 1-7, Bourgeois, our very first racer from the country of India,
absolutely,
was out in the lead early. But then as the race moved on, we had Stephen Coleman in Slab Dog, race 37, along with Scott Holmes and Outlaw in race 9. Those 3 aircraft were kind of the story up front all day yesterday in this class. And there you see, here's the pass where Bourgeois finally made it, going down the back stretch of our up-close and personal 3.5-mile track. And he makes the pass on the outside. There is race 37, Stephen Coleman and Slab Dog, seen passing some lack traffic here near the end of the race. And there is the pull-up as they take the checkered flag at the end of this race. It was very exciting, some closed course, tight shoulder-to-shoulder racing like we always see with F1.
Well, yesterday's race, we had in this class here, actually the class above, we had Jen Watson, a rookie here who had to leave the race, so she's dropped down in class. Let's hear from Jen on the start of this race.
So I started flying over 22 years ago and just kind of done a little bit of every type of flying, airlines, corporate, aerobatics, you name it, backcountry, all that stuff. And to me, racing is kind of the epitome of all of those years of flying and the skill it takes, and being able to just put it all together into one venue is amazing.
They are on our up-close and personal 3.5-mile track. They make the left turn, and the first circuit around the track is really what we call a starter lap or a warm-up lap. Now, they can maneuver for position. They're racing, but we don't start counting the time or the laps until they pass the home pylon, the start line, and then we're going to make our entire circuit of our race laps here. It's going to be 8 laps. There is the green flag. Tommy, the throttles are coming up. The adrenaline is going right now. The starter, there it is. The flag drops. We are underway, Tommy. This is Heat 3C on Friday here at the National Championship Air Races. Todd Rumsey's getting the early lead on the runway. Exactly what we talked about, the difference in the propellers and the strategies. You can see our pole sitter is definitely dropping back. Row 2 is now coming back by him, but Todd Rumsey jumping out to an early lead, followed by Steve Temple in the blue and yellow. Never easy. Third place, looks like it's Dominic Cacalici. There as we head into our first pylon. You can see everybody safely airborne. Another reason for this starter lap, Tommy, is the aircraft become much more effective, the ailerons and the control surfaces, once they get up to speed. And so that's another reason we get up to altitude, get up to speed as we come around. You can see we have some great camera views from out in the pylons, out in the desert. We'll be able to bring this to everybody at home. Yeah, right up front. Jen Watson in blackjack jumping up front there in 21. The blue and yellow 73 right behind her is Steve Temple. And the rainbow colored wings there on the third place. But look at, there's Jen Watson. We just heard from her before the race, Tommy. And look at, she's jumped out really quick. Got her aircraft up to speed. As we come back to the home pylon, as we pass that right here, we are now officially underway. We're counting time, we're counting laps, Tommy.
Here we go, 8 laps around this 3-mile course. Race 21 right there, Jen Watson. We knew she had the speed to do well. She took the drop down in class because she did not finish her race in the upper class, the silver class, yesterday.
Yeah, she had a little bit of an issue, had to pull up and out for a safety concern. That dropped her down into this class, but she clearly is jumping out in front of what we have here today. And she is on, man, 7:45 in the morning. She is up, fueled, and ready to go. Look at, she is on the rails as she goes around the corner here. You can see as she pitches around pylon 4, 5, and 6 on the west end of our course. See the aircraft roll left, get a great view of the top of that aircraft. And let's watch as she comes right into your living room here, Tommy. Such a beautiful sight here on the crystal clear, high desert morning. And there you see Jen as she rolls around pylon number 1. Second and third place, we've got race number 73, Steve Temple, along with Paul Newman in race 26. And you remember, Paul Newman was way back in 6th place, all by himself in that last row, and he's maneuvered himself up to 3rd place here as we continue to watch those aircraft make their way around. And there he is, get a really close and look. Beautiful paint scheme with the checkerboard tail.
All alone in 2nd place now is Paul Newman from Topeka, Kansas.
Great look as he comes around the west end of our up close and personal 3.5-mile course. Get to look at the top of that aircraft. We're going to jump back now to our leader, Jen Watson, race 21. She has jumped out early, as we said a minute ago, and appears to be just on rails right now, Tommy. And pending any issues or concerns, it looks to be that she's going to make her way through. We're already almost halfway through this race, Tommy.
She just started lap number 3 right there.
When she completes this one, we will begin lap 4 of 8. So we're about 3.5 in. Down the backstretch, she accelerates out of that turn, makes her way down the backstretch, again, just right on the minimum altitude of 50 feet over the desert, staying outside of the pylons. So you've got to stay 50 feet above the surface of the desert floor and outside the course track-shaped oval, 3.5 miles long, and fly around the outside of those pylons.
Doesn't take Jen long to get around this 3-mile track that's obvious right now. She has got the speed element conquered.
Absolutely, Tommy. So we yesterday we had her well up into the near 200-mile-an-hour range, and that looks like what she's got dialed up here this morning. She had a fixed pitch propeller selection in RPM on her aircraft that allowed her to jump out fairly quickly on the start, and then obviously she's got the top end speed compared to the rest of the field right now.
Sometimes you don't see the quick starters prosper so much once they get to full speed with the rest of the field, but this is an exception here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. She's just really rolling as she comes around. Great shot from our crow's nest camera here, pulling that shot right up and close personal for you, and watch as she comes right into your living room as she makes this turn, heads towards the home pylon.
Jen Watson from Sacramento, California. The Blackjack is the name of that aircraft.
Tommy, we're jumping back to second. This is Paul Newman. Fast and easy in the beautiful blue, orange, and checkerboard airplane. Very high visibility paint scheme.
Absolutely, I like it.
But just like Jen Watson, Paul is doing a great job of staying right on track. Obviously, the shortest way around this course is the closest end of those pylons on the inside lane, and you see that's what Paul is doing it. And you know, in NASCAR, roundy round cars, they call it hitting your marks. And while we don't have marks on the pavement, it's the same thing in closed course pylon racing. There are definitely marks, at least mentally, for the pilots to begin the turn, the muscle memory of rolling the aircraft to the left. But the big difference is we're flying in three-dimensional space here with turbulence, you know, from somebody ahead of you. So the pilots are always reacting. But these beautiful Formula One racers, it's just so exciting to see Paul Newman just doing it with a lot of flair here this morning.
Paul Newman again. Race 26 hanging in there in second place. And there is our leader, race 21, Jen Watson.
Tommy, we're already lap 6 of 8 as she heads down the backstretch, headed to the west. Coming up on pylon number 4, you're going to see her roll here on the pylon as she makes her way around. Carl Robinson in the Buddy Special, excuse me. So she has now lapped him. And then there she's passing the all-yellow aircraft. And you see a little bit of turbulence there as she comes around pylon number 6. That happens when you get into lap traffic.
Yeah, she had that clean air until she got to going too fast.
Yeah, but she's still making ease of this field right now as she makes her way around. Definitely got a little more speed than most of the competitors in this class. Here's a good grouping back here with our second place airplane and Paul Newman as he begins to encounter that same race traffic in race 6. That's Carl Robinson you saw a good look at. We jump back now to our leader as she is headed down the backstretch one last time. You see Jen Watson continuing to encounter lap traffic there as she comes around the final few pylons here.
White flag, white flag.
1 lap to go, Tommy, as she passes start-finish line. The home pylon right there. We're in the final lap. White flag.
Once again, this is Jen Watson with the lead there. She dropped down in class from yesterday from a silver class, so she did not get a time in her race yesterday, so she's working her way back up and getting the job done.
Right, and folks may wonder, well, you're so much faster, why are you pushing it so hard? Because we're still about doing these heat races where time matters.
Sure.
So her fastest time will help move her into a better position in those other classes. Like we talked about earlier, a lot of movement. You get to see her now in the final time around pylon number 4 right there, just went through your camera. She's on the very west end of our course here, coming around pylons 5 and 6. And we expect that she will get the checkered flag on her way here in just a minute. You'll watch her roll wings level. Let's watch as she finishes here with the checkered flag.
Runway 8, wind calm.
Race 21, Jen Watson. There comes Paul Newman, race 26 in second place.
Steve Temple, I believe, is coming through here pretty quick in a blue and yellow aircraft. You continue to see the checkered flag wave as the rest of our racers come through, and there comes our last aircraft there as he makes his way towards the start-finish. But Tommy, wow, what a way to start the day!
Yeah.
Formula One
Beats any cup of coffee you could ever have for getting the blood flowing and the adrenaline pumping for a great day of racing here in Reno.
What a great way to start it. We had so much excitement. Let's go back and look at the start here. You see the start, and right away on the third position, Todd Rumsey and Sonic Zoom jumped out quick. But look, here comes Jen Robinson in race 21, and she's just making quick work of all of these aircraft. And eventually we end up with Steve Temple and Never Easy at second. There comes Paul Newman. He passes him too, and real quick, we've got Jen out front, Paul in second, and Steve Temple in third. And the race sort of settled out there. Get a great look at race 72, Dominique Cacolici there in his all-yellow, the Sky Addict part of this race. But there was our leader the entire race, Tommy.
Jen Watson never challenged maybe for the first 3 seconds of the race, and that was it. She took over and stayed in charge.
And here you see towards the end of the race, the last few laps, encountering a little bit of turbulence as she comes around those final pylons, but she's in lap traffic. And like we always have to do on closed course racing, you got to pass on the outside. So that's what you see her doing. And there is the checkered flag, Tony.
Congratulations, Jen Watson. Got some more of our planes heading out for a later F1 race, but there are unofficial results. Jen Watson, race 21, Blackjack in first place. Paul Newman, race 26, Fast and Easy second. Steve Temple in third, race 73, Never Easy. Todd Rumsey, race 58, and Sonic Zoom in fourth place. Dominic Pacalici, 72, the Sky Attic in fifth. In sixth place, in the Buddy Special, the other plane, Carl Robertson. Race number 6. More to come.